Okay, so when I was telling you guys about how the the latest black or the newest black is a very heavily mixed race of people with a melanated skin tone. Okay, let me find out. Okay, now what I'm talking about is when I had mentioned the uh, one of the female singers in the black community who is heavily mixed up with a lot of different things. Her name is YUNA, and I don't know if Usher signed her in with the music deal or not. I don't know if, but I know he performs a song with her called Crush. And so that's the type of look that Hollywood is pushing black men to go for, that real heavily unambiguous look. They look more like Yuna. And then, uh, give me a second here. Let's see. Let me look up the name of this woman who signed a record deal with uh, yeah, just give me a second. Okay, so I'm trying to. Okay, so P. Diddy's ex-girlfriend, her name is Cassie Ventura. Okay, that's the type of heavily mixed look that I'm talking about that Hollywood is targeting. When I looked up her racial background, she's mixed with like 3 to 4 different races. She's got Filipino in her, black, or some type of Latino bloodline. So she's mixed with like black, white, Asian, and I think that's pretty much it. But she's like real unambiguous looking. You know, you can see Latina in her. You can look at her and see black. You can look at her and see Mexican or some type of Latino. Um, but see, that's the type of look that a lot of black men are going for because Hollywood, once again, is pushing that type of, they're calling for these real heavily unambiguous looking uh, women. I've noticed a lot of movies that I've seen, they're using these heavily mixed looking women that they're putting in these movie roles to play the wives and girlfriends of black men. Okay, and they look more like Cassie Ventura, P. Diddy's ex girlfriend, the one that filed a lawsuit against him and sued him for millions of dollars. Yeah. So they're looking for girls that look more on that level. Okay, these real heavily mixed, unambiguous looking girls where you can't really tell what they are, but you can look at them and see that yeah, she's got a little bit of black in her, she's got a little bit of Latina in her, she's got a little bit of Asian in her. That's the look that they're going for. It's no longer really biracial girls anymore. It's these girls like Cassie uh, and I'm talking about just in Hollywood, um, and YUNA. These real unambiguous looking females is what they're going for nowadays. Okay, so that's the type I'm looking for. And Cassie Ventura, she is very, very nice looking. Okay, but I kind of feel like if I was P Diddy, if I was in his shoes, um, I don't understand why he just didn't marry the mother of his twins. Now she's a dark skinned black woman, but she looks to me like she's a Pardo. Okay, a girl that's mixed with some type of Native American and black, because you can look at her hair texture and see she's she's got something else in her, and to me she looks like a Sambo or some type of Pardo mix. Even though she's dark skinned, you can still tell that she's got something else in her. To me, she looks very exotic, very beautiful. I don't understand why he couldn't just stop at that. But black men, one thing I can't stand about black men is that they, especially the ones in Hollywood, they don't ever stick with one woman, and it don't matter how beautiful she is. They'll stay with her for a while, and then eventually she gets replaced. Okay, uh, look how bad P Diddy treated Cassie Ventura, even though she is extremely attractive. Now, and then look how bad he treated his the mother of his twins. To me, I'm just going to say wife because she was the one that was with him the longest, and she gave him his firstborn children, I believe, at least that we know of, that he took in and fathered. Uh, so to me, I kind of see her as his wife, or at least used to be his wife until he had her uh, Killed off. So, uh, you know, black men like P Diddy, if I looked like Cassie Ventura, to me P Diddy would be the least type of man that I would go for. But I think she really only went for him to further her career. Okay, because a lot of black women know that P. Diddy is very handsome for a black man. Okay, he's a very beautiful shade of black. He has very nice features. He is attractive, but he's not marriage material. Okay, he's definitely, you can take one look at him and tell that he's the player type. He's that type that will never settle down. Yeah, he goes for women who are extremely attractive, but they don't last over a year or so, because something that he does to run them off, and then the next thing you know, you see him with some other highly ambiguous looking girl. They sport these women like jewelry. The flashier you are, the prettiest girls they can attract, the flashy, you know, ways that they take these girls out in public and use them as trophies. Look what I got. Look how bad she looks. Look what I got. These girls are nothing more than trophies. Okay, they show them off like they're a flashy piece of jewelry, and as soon as they can find somebody else that looks better than you, you're history. And that's very common with black, very nice looking black men that look like P Diddy or in that category. They're very nice looking. They dress real nice, but every other week they got a new bitch. That's pretty much how they roll. And those are the types of men that black women and heavily ambiguous looking women don't really want to marry. Uh, Yeah, a lot of black men are, I wouldn't say a lot, but some of them are very attractive. I myself fell for one of these guys. The guy that I fell in love with when I was in my prime years, he was the one that I did that vampire story on. I was in love with him for years. He was dark skinned, black eyed. He kind of reminds me of P Diddy a little bit. Everywhere he went, he dressed extremely nice, very flashy dresser, dark skinned, real clear skin, no uh, bad look. Nothing about him looked off. Real nice features, real attractive. I fell for one of those guys, but I just didn't. Luckily for me, um, I ended up marrying somebody else, and really only because uh, I would only see this guy up at the clubs, and we would just sit and stare at each other for hours on end. And really, I think it was just basically a very, very heavy attraction between me and him. It was based off of just, like a sexual attraction. We were very much attracted to each other, but I seriously think that if I had hooked up with him, which I never really did, but we did, it was very clear we were very much attracted to each other. I think we would have had a very high sexual relationship, but I don't really think it would have went further than that. I think that we probably would have, you know, had sex quite a bit, and then we would have tired eventually of each other and went our own ways after a while. And guys that look like that, that's how they are. They they get with girls that are very, very attractive. They flash them around. Look what I got. She's the baddest thing since, you know, spaghetti. And they just use them as trophies. You're just kind of like a flashy trophy. They show you off, and the minute they see something that looks better than you, you're gone. This is how these guys roll. Okay, and as long as girls like Cassie Ventura and Yuna are allowing these guys to use them as trophies, they're going to continue to do it. And these relationships with these uh, very nice looking, dark skinned black men like P. Diddy don't typically last. How many women has P. Diddy been through? A lot. Okay, and that's how guys that look like that, and even guys that don't even look as good as P. Diddy, just heavily melanated guys, a lot of the times they use women as trophies. A lot of the times they don't stick with women over a year at best. If and these girls can have the best personality, they can dress really nice, have the nicest figure, they still don't last very long. Look at what's his name? I'm not going to remember his name, but Kim Kardashian's ex-husband. Let me look it up real quick because I don't remember his name. When I'm making videos, I don't remember names very well. So let me look it up real quick. Um, yeah, I use this guy's name all the time. Never had a problem remembering his name up until now. So what, huh? It's not pulling it up. Oh, Kanye. Okay, that's his name. Okay, so see, Kanye is one of these types of guys. very dark skinned. He's nice looking, I think, for a black guy, I guess. Um, Real clear skin, uh, nice features. To me, he's not what I call fine, but he's nice looking. Okay, let's just. I wouldn't be attracted to Kanye just because his energy just I don't like his energy at all. I can tell that he goes for non-black women, and I'm not typically attracted to guys like that. Uh, and there's a lot of black men that have that energy that I can feel the energy when I'm around them. They are not attracted to girls that look like me, so I don't really uh, give them the time of day at all. I can tell real quickly who's attracted to black women and who's not, or mixed race women. So Kanye West is not the type of guy that dates uh, any woman that looks like she's got a drop of black blood in her. He's not even interested in girls like um, Yoni, like that, or YUNA. He's not even interested in girls that are even a quarter. Now, Yona, whatever her name is, she looks like she's probably half Asian and half black, but she has a very, very ambiguous look to her. You kind of have to, are you Asian or are you black? You know, she's very unambiguous looking. You can't just directly look at her and just tell off, oh, she's black. No. You can definitely tell she's mixed, but you can't really tell because there's some angles where she looks Asian, and then there's other angles where she looks definitely like a biracial girl. She doesn't really look black because you can definitely tell she's biracial, but she doesn't look like a mulatto though. She looks like a Blasian, okay? But then, like I said, there's certain angles where she looks fully Asian too. So that's what I'm saying. These guys want girls that you can't really tell what they are. Now, when I was telling you guys that, what's her name? Mariah Carey. Yeah, Mariah Carey, when I was telling you, when I was explaining to you that there's really no popular quadroons in the singing industry, as far as we know. There's no obvious popular quadroons. Well, actually, Mariah Carey is a quadroon, okay? Because if you look at her father, he's some type of MGM or he's biracial or something. So actually, Mariah Carey is, um, to me, she's more at that quadroon level, and she's the only one that I know of besides Jennifer Bills, because I think she's another quadroon. She's the only one that I know of that has ever made it in the music industry at that level. Okay, uh, if there's anyone else that's made it at Mariah Carey's level, they're white passing. If they're quadroons, they're white passing. Okay, but you can look at Mariah Carey and tell she's at least a quarter black, okay? And it might be even a little less than that, but you can still see that black blood in her, okay? And that's why I think she made it to the level where she's at. She's almost close to a billionaire, or she might even be one. I'm not sure, but she's definitely up at that level. And she's the only one that I know of that's a quadroon that's ever made it that far in the music industry. Because how many other quadroons have you ever seen or heard of that has made it to the level that Mariah Carey is at? They're nowhere to be found. And if they are at her level, they're white passing because you don't see or hear about them in the black community. Um, they try to pass Mariah Carey off as biracial, okay? But she's actually quadroon. She's a quadroon, okay? So, and she's really and the only reason why, like I said, she's made it to where she's at is because she looks, you can still see that black blood in her, but she looks heavily mixed. She looks like a quadroon, what they used to look like. That's what quadroons used to look like, but now they look like they're 4/4 of white. You can't really tell. Like Drake's kids uh, and Paula Patton's kids, they look white to me, like pure white. They don't even look at quadroon level. Okay, and so they're basically white passing. That's what you call white passing at that point. And at that point, they don't get any type of recognition from the black community at all. Okay, so when Drake's kids get older, unless they have some type of very, very extreme talent, they're not going to get recognized in Hollywood, not from the black community at all. Because for whatever reason, uh, the black community does not recognize quadroons. Mariah Carey is the only one that's gotten as far as she has, and it's because you can see that black blood in her. Okay, when you look at Jennifer Bills, I think she's another quadroon, and I think she's got some Latina in her. I'm not sure. She might even be Creole. Okay, uh, she made it kind of far in Hollywood, but then all of a sudden she just kind of dropped off of the face of the earth, and you don't really hear a lot about her anymore. Okay, but when in her younger years, she was pretty big stuff, especially when she made that movie. She played a star role in the movie called The Feast of All Saints. And she played a Creole in that movie, which my mother swears that she thinks that Jennifer Bills is a real Creole. Um, but that's, you can look at Jennifer Bills and still see that black blood peeking out through that mixed bloodline. You can still see it. If you look at her real hard, you don't even have to look at her hard. You can see she's like Mariah Carey. You can see that black blood is still there. Those are the types. If they get anywhere in Hollywood as a quadroon, you're going to see that black blood is still visible. Because if you can't see that black blood in them, the black community is not going to recognize them at all. They don't exist in our community. Once they get at quadroon level, unless you can see that black blood in them, they're not recognizable. If they're not recognizable, if you can't see it, they don't get nowhere in the black community. And this is why I'm telling biracial people out there, you might want to stop at 50%. Don't go past that. What I'm saying is, because if you do, quadroons don't typically get recognized in the black community at all. They're not in the movies. They're not in the music industry. Okay? As I have said, Mariah Carey is the only one that I know of that has ever made it as far as she's made it. Okay? I guess for obvious reasons. So, for some reason, so this is why I'm saying mulattoes out there might want to stop at 50%. Which means what I'm saying is that you might want to marry other mulattoes that look like mulattoes, like Paula Patton. She looks like an even 50-50 to me. That's what most biracial girls look like. Okay? Like the Paula Patton type. She's as attractive as most mulattoes can get. Okay? She's very attractive to me. But her kids are not going to be recognized in the black community. They're just not. Unless they're extremely talented, and even if they are, they're probably going to be more seen as white passing. Okay, so that means they're not going to be in uh, black movies as much at all. Okay, so I just wanted to let you guys know exactly what I meant when I said that a lot of these black men now are going for these highly mixed girls. They're still going for mulatto girls, okay? The ones that look like the ones that are obviously in the 50-50 range. They're not looking for girls like me, for instance, because I look more like uh, a Griff, okay? And it has a lot to do with the 4C hair. It has a lot to do with it because as soon as I straighten my hair, that mulatto look comes out, okay? Then I start getting attention. And to me, that's kind of sick, okay? Because it really shouldn't matter. But that's how these men are. The more white passing you are, the more attention you're going to get. But they still want to see that black blood. They just want to see more of the white blood, okay? So this is why I'm telling mulatto girls out there, you know, the Paula Patton kind, okay? The ones that obviously are 50-50 or more closer in that range when it comes to making children. If you want them to get noticed or if you want them to be popular or to have an easy life, breeding back into whiteness is probably not going to be, you know, a good idea. Uh, Breeding into a darker hue of black or brown is probably going to keep them right at biracial level, okay, so that they get noticed by people. Because once you get past that Paula Patton look and you start going more into the quadroon look, they just kind of disappear after that, at least as far as Hollywood and the music industry is concerned. They don't get noticed. And it's like that in the Latin American or the Latina community as well. Or the Latino community, it's like that in their community as well. You don't see uh, black Latinos making it in the Latino community. Uh, if they can see that black blood, you're out in the Latino community. You're not put on a high pedestal. Why do you think girls like Cardi Kardashian, or not Kim Kardashian, but Cardi B, and who's that other one I'm thinking of? I'm not going to remember her name. But why do you think Cardi B had to come to the black community to get where she's at? Because she can't find recognition in the Latino community. Because they do not recognize biracial blacks that lean more towards the black side. Now, if you look at Cardi B, to me, she looks like a 50-50 looking biracial. But then if you look at her parents, her father looks like he might be a quarter black, and her mom looks like she might be an eighth black. Okay, so Cardi B just pulled out that black blood a little bit more. She looks to me like a 50-50 biracial. And that's why she made it as far as she made it in the black community, because you can look at her and still see that black blood as well as the Latino blood. Okay? But her kids might make it just because they lean more towards the black side, so they'll probably have careers in the black community. It just depends if they have any talent or not, okay? Because they're black, okay? But they could never make it in the Latino community. They're not going to recognize her kids at all. And so you see how this shit works? So, yeah, you can get real far in the black community as long as you're black or you're very black, unambiguous looking, like, you know, like Paula Patton. You can look at her and tell she's a mulatto. but she obviously is half and half. Okay? So this is what I'm saying. They like that very, very mixed look, not that barely there mixed look. Like me, I have that barely there looking mixed look until I straighten my hair. Then the biracial, then you can see it. Then it comes out. Okay? If I put on a wig or if I straighten my hair and wear more Europeanized looking hairstyles, suddenly I become more attracted to black men. And what's disgusting to me is you'll have these stupid fucking bastard ass black males that will sit up here talking about, oh well, we want you to wear your natural hair. Wear your natural hair. It's all about the natural hair. I've been wearing my natural hair for at least 10 years now. Not once have I been asked out on a date from these motherfuckers. Okay? The minute I switch to wearing a straighter hairstyle, if I straighten it or I don't relax it anymore. But if I were to go in and put a relaxer in my hair, suddenly it'll look real full, but it'll look, you can definitely, that biracial girl comes right out. It's like bam, okay? Black men are looking left and right. They are some of the most colorist fucking bastards on this planet. And this is what really sickens me about them. I cannot stand them because a lot of them will sit up here, oh, it's not about, we don't want you wearing anything artificial. Don't wear no fake hair. Don't get your nails done. Don't wear any makeup. Don't wear anything fake because we're not attracted to that. And they're the most lion ass motherfuckers on this planet. They say they will tell you one thing, and it's the opposite of what they're telling you is what they're attracted to. Because they don't want the world to know that they're a bunch of self-hating bastards. They don't like anything that looks like them, but they still want to see that black in you, but they want you to look obviously mixed. Okay? And so all this shit that they're telling black women, and I think I made a previous video about this, about the lying bastard asses that they are in the black community. That's what it is. And that's why black women are not really believing them. And I'm glad they're not. Because if it wasn't, because a lot of them that do wear their natural hair, a lot of the times they don't get a second look. A lot of the times they don't. Black men will say one thing and actually mean something else. Okay? I've noticed a lot of these girls that are wearing these wigs that black men claim they don't like, they sure have dates. They sure are out here having these kids. How are they getting pregnant if black men are not attracted to them? How are they having all these kids all over the place, everywhere? And these kids are black. And so if black men don't like all this artificial hair and all that kind of stuff, how are these black women getting pregnant? Because they sure aren't, anytime they want to date, they sure can get these black men, they sure do get their attention, even though a lot of these black men don't stick with them very long. That's just how they roll. Okay, it's not because they're black, it's because the black men have a weakness that they just cannot stick with one woman over 6 to 12 months. This is how they are. Now, I have a brother, okay, that is married to a girl that he met down in the Caribbean. He's only been married once, okay, and I thought to myself, well, my brother has been able to do it. How come? But then again, when I think about it, my brother is also an MGM. So that's why he's been able to stick with his wife, because he loves her, okay? But then again, he comes from a mixed race bloodline. He's not purely black. That's probably why, and his wife is dark skinned too, and she's pretty. But and my brother is light skinned too, okay? so I want to put that out there as well. Okay, but I kind of feel like one of the reasons why that relationship has lasted as long as it has is probably because he's mixed. Okay, but full-blooded black men cannot stick with one woman. It is something in their psyche that they are just not, and I'm not saying it's never been done. I'm saying the average black man, okay, because there are some out there that do, but I'm talking about on average. The majority of them that I have seen and known, they will rock these women for a couple of months, 6 months, a year, 2 years at best, 5 years max. Once once that 5 years is over, they're gone. There's something about them that I don't know what it is, okay, but they just cannot stay in relationships with one woman for too long. And so that's kind of why I have never really been into them as much because they're just not very faithful men. They're just not, unless they're mixed with something or that's just what I've seen. That's what I've seen. Okay. My uncle has been married. He was married when he was alive. He was married to one woman his whole life. They met in high school. They had 2 kids, one that he adopted and took care of as his own son and recognized him as his own son. And raised 3 kids, stayed with his wife for until he died. Okay, but he's mixed race. Okay, these black males, I don't see the same thing with them. I just don't. So when you guys are looking for marital partners, and I'm talking to a lot of girls out there, you might want to consider trying to get a man who has a history of sticking with one woman. And it's hard because, of course, they're going to tell you, oh, well, no, I don't date, woman after woman. Yeah, they're going to tell you that. I don't go for woman after woman after woman. But then, you start looking in their phone or you start looking at some of their past photo albums and you see all these bitches lined up that they done been with. And I know that a lot of guys go through this in their early years. I'm grateful my nephew never went through that. He doesn't. He's not after one girl after another after another after another. He just. I've only known him to be serious with one girl, and after she ended up kind of dogging him, he never really went for these light-skinned Latinas, because she was a light-skinned Latina. He never really went for them for as much after that. And now I think he's looking at a black girl. So I'm kind of hoping that works out, or I'm kind of hoping he ends up with a mulatto or a black female. I'm kind of hoping, but I kind of want him to be happy and marry someone who he's going to be with for the rest of his life. Okay, so if she's Hispanic, that's okay, I guess, as long as it's going to last. Because some of these black girls, I don't want them marrying my nephew because they are I don't like, some of them are very ghetto. Some of them are it's all about how much money he makes. And so, I told my nephew, because at first I was trying to push him, just marry, black or mulatto, just marry black or mulatto. But now I'm kind of thinking, you know what, just, get a girl that is going to love you, and get one that you think is going to stick with you for life. Even if she's white, just, if you can find someone who loves you, tie her down, marry her, and stick with one woman, please. Because my nephew has enough melanin in him where those kids are going to be black. They're going to be, if he marries a white girl, or if he, which I don't, he's not really attracted to white girls, and I'm kind of grateful for that. But if he marries a Hispanic girl, which, he typically goes for them, I'm hoping she's more native. I'm kind of hoping she leans more towards the native dark skin type. But even if she's a mestizo, as long as she's cool with us, and hopefully it'll last a lifetime, then I don't care. I just want him to be happy because uh, some of these black girls, I don't want my nephew tying up with some of these girls because they have a bad attitude. Some of them, a really nasty attitude. And I know that there's black girls out there that don't have those types of attitudes, but there's a lot of them that do. So I've just told my nephew, I used to be for you going just for black or mulatto girls, but if you can't find one, go with whoever you can get that's going to, if it's going to last a lifetime, if you think she's the one, and you think you can stay with her and she's going to be a good mother, go for it. Because I just want my nephew to be happy. He's almost 30 now and has never been married, and I'm kind of thinking, damn, can you tie one of these bitches down and have kids and marry her so I can have my grandchildren? Because I'm kind of like, I'm almost 60, and it's like I don't have any grandkids yet, and he's the closest thing that, you know, that would be my son. So I kind of consider him my son in a sense. But I'm kind of wishing, can you hurry up and have some kids? Because damn, I don't want to be 70 and you're just now having kids. But I'm kind of glad he's not, a player. I'm very glad about that. Uh, he doesn't just go after girl after girl after girl. Because my nephew, his mother is a mulatto. Okay, she's actually an MGM, so she's like a second generation mulatto, like me. Okay, because we have the same mom and dad. And so I told him, if you can bring home a mulatto girl or, an MGM, whatever, he doesn't really know, what that is or anything. But I just told him he knows what a mulatto is, but he doesn't understand MGM and all that type of shit. So I'm basically just told him, hey, if you could find a woman, hopefully I'm wishing you would get a mulatto or a black female, but if you can't, just get what you can get as long as she gets along with us. Because there are some white girls out there that I do actually get along with. Okay, when it comes to white women, I tend to get along with the ones that are married to white men more. And it's always been like that. And I think one of the reasons why is because they act like themselves. Now, I can get along with white girls that are married to black men as long as they act white. What I don't like is white girls who date black men and they try to steal black and mulatto girls' identities. Okay, I can't stand those types, and they don't typically like me either. And because they look at me and they see me as their competitor, and it's like uh, I don't like girls that try to put on a black scent. I can't stand that. I don't like white or Hispanic girls that wear black hairstyles and then come into the black community eyeing black women up and down. And then they're racist towards them, but yet they're trying to steal your men and your culture and trying to be you all at the same time. Those are the ones I don't like. So I'm not really racist. I don't like girls that think they're black. That's what I don't like. So I can get along with white girls that are married to black men as long as they stay in their place. Okay? Because I talked to this girl at work. She's married to a black man. Me and her get along really well. But she doesn't try to act like she's black, though. She acts like a pure, whole white girl. And so as long as she respects black women, which she does, okay, she's not trying to be us, she's not trying to replace us, but she just happens to be married to a black man. To me, I'm okay with that, okay? When I say things like Miss Ann, okay, I'm talking about these black girls that, or these white girls that think that they're black. Okay, they wear it, and Hispanic women do it too. They wear the baby hairs, they listen to black people's music, they try to adopt these black accents and all that type of stuff. I can't stand those girls. I cannot stand them. Okay, because I'm part Mexican. In my younger days, I could never go into the Mexican community and act like one of them because I tried it. They kicked me out with a quickness. Okay, they let me know you're not one of us. I don't care if you're mixed or not. You're not going to come into our community and try and be one of us because we're going to let you know with a quickness. You're not Latino. We don't care who raised you. We don't care if you're a quarter Mexican. You're not one of us. They let me know with a quickness, okay? So as far as I'm concerned, okay, if I'm raised by a Mexican man, but I still can't go into the Mexican community and be one of you, and I can't rock with you like I'm one of you, you can't do it in the black community either. That's why I do not like Hispanic girls that try to come into the black community, trying to befriend all these black girls, looking down their nose at girls that look like me because I'm obviously their competition, and then they go and befriend these dark-skinned girls because they know they can sucker up to them and overpower them and befriend them and then turn against girls that look like me. That's very, very popular with a lot of these these wannabe black Latinas and these wannabe black white girls. Those are the ones I don't like, okay? Because to me, it's the nerve of you to come into my community and eye me up and down like I'm some type of like I'm some kind of piece of trash, and then you're in my community, pulling the men out of my community and acting like you're better than me all at the same time. No, you're not going to come into my community uh, as a mulatto or as a black woman, okay, because I can kind of pass for both. You're not going to come into my community and eye me up and down like you think you're better than me, trying to be me, and then you're dating the men in my community. I'm going to let you know real quick, you're not black, you're not a mulatto, you're not one of us, and so you can't rock with us like that. If you're white, stay white. That's the best way you're going to get along with black women. Okay, don't try to act like us, don't try to look like us, don't try to replace us, don't try to be us. There's a girl on TikTok right now trying to pass herself off as a mulatto. And I let her know real quick, you are not a mulatto. I can look at you and tell you are not white passing. Because she tried to tell me, she was trying to tell me that her father is, I guess, an MGM or something like that. Or she didn't say MGM, but I think she tried to say something like her father was biracial and her mom was white. But she acts like she's 100% black. This girl, I can tell a, uh, now I done forgot the word, but I can tell someone who's 75% white and 25% black. I can tell within seconds if you're one of those. I just was saying the word earlier in this video and now can't even remember it. Oh Lord, I'm gonna have to start taking some vitamins for this shit because it's getting out of hand. It's getting way out of hand. But anyway, I can look at a woman and see the quarter black blood in her. Okay, I can tell even if she's got an eighth. I can, someone like Mariah Carey, I can look at her and see that black blood. It's very out there, but you can still tell she's in the 75 to 60 to 65% range of white. Okay, but you can still see that black blood in her. Okay, girls that look like that are a little different, because you can see that black blood in them. Okay, so But when you're a whole white girl and you're trying to pass yourself off as a mulatto, I can't stand it. I cannot stand that shit. And this girl is up on TikTok trying to steal the identity of mulatto girls, and she's making money off of it. She's got a fake black accent. She overdoes it in her when she talks. She over exaggerates that black accent, and it's just it really makes my skin crawl. I cannot stand girls like that. And I let her know you are not a mulatto. And don't you ever try to pass yourself off as a mulatto. And you mulattoes out there need to get up on TikTok and stop allowing these white girls to steal your identity. Okay? Get out there and speak up for yourselves. Do not allow these white girls to call themselves mulatto when they're not. And do not allow them to get away with that. You start flooding those chat rooms or her TikTok page, YouTube page, whatever, and you let her know you are not one of us. Because I'll tell you what, you can't go into her community and pretend like you're white and get away with it. So why are you allowing her to come into your community and do it and make money off of a title that she's not? Don't allow these white girls to steal your identity. Okay? And I'm pretty much going to end this video at this, and I'll talk to you guys a little bit later. Thank you.